here. So I can see Esther's got sound, so that's great. Look, it's nearly 3:35, so I think we'll just get started. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. This is our first online meeting, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to have these online meetings monthly so that you can all connect with each other and discuss how your RSEN and your project is going, so you can support each other, troubleshoot and brainstorm. So I just wanted to ask a question of everyone, and hopefully maybe everyone can answer this question using the chat function, because I was hoping you could answer this by putting your hands up, but I can only see Sally and Lena. I just wanted to find out who has actually read the guide, the best practice guide to planning a sustainability education and education project. So I can see that there's no hands up from the people I can see on screen. Guys, do you want to yes, Esther's putting some chat notes, that's good. Esther has printed it but hasn't read it. Chantel's had a quick look, not yet. Anyone else, do you want to? Okay, so people have had, hey, Andy McQuee, we can see another face. Hello, Andy.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Where you can see there's a lot of blank screens, but hopefully the next meeting, if everyone gets a webcam or comes onto this using their smartphone, because there's an app, there's a Zoom app, so you can access this if you've got an Android or an iPhone. Hopefully we'll have a few more faces. So I was just asking who's read the guide, and it looks like we've sort of got a mix. Some people haven't read it, that's fine. Some people have a quick skim through and a read and a quick look. So look, basically I'm going to try and cram a whole heap into the next 15 minutes so that we then have 45 minutes for you guys to talk about how your RSENs are going and how your projects are going. And hopefully at that stage people will then we'll just sort of go around the Zoom room, so to speak. Hey Jules, we've got another face. Hey Jules, good to see you. Can you hear me, Jules? She's getting her audio sorted out. Okay, so if you have come today, if you have read through the guide about best practice project planning and you have a question, please just write your question in the chat function down the side. That will be really helpful, so that in about 15 minutes when I finish my part, I can check in and see whether I've answered your question. So it could be a question about the actual project plan, or it could be a question about the process for this year. So, and then once we get through my bit, we'll go around the Zoom room and see who'd like to share how their project ideas are developing. So look, the first thing I just really wanted to reiterate is just to please remember that we're asking you to do this project plan as an action learning exercise. So we're doing this so that you can put into place what you've learned since October and share these learnings with the rest of your regional sustainability education network. So, you know, doing this, doing a best practice project plan now for this network group project, it's an opportunity for you to develop a project plan with your peers so that the next time you need to design a new environmental education project for your organisation, you'll have the skills and experience and confidence to develop an actual best practice project for your organisation. And, you know, we really hope that that will maybe help some organisations, you know, understand better the value of environmental education, better understand the outcomes, and see and understand how environmental education helps the environment. So, you know, this process is really in the long term, it's an opportunity for you to lift environmental education within your organisation, you know, if you're in a large organisation and you're sort of the only one there. So let's quickly go through the 8 key elements of the best practice project plan. So I'm just going to share the screen now with everyone, so it just takes a second to do that. So just bear with me. Okay, so Andy, can you see that? Yep. Okay, great. All right. So I just want to go through the 8 key elements. You can see, just scrolling through the background, there's information on sustainability, education and engagement, best practice guiding principles, and then how to use this guide. So let's look straight into the actual project plan itself. So as you can see, this is the contents of the project plan, and within this are essentially 8 key elements that you need to think about to undertake best practice. So let's jump straight into them. So the first key element is environmental benefit. So you need to think about what is the environmental issue you're addressing, what will the actual benefits be to the environment when you've carried out a successful project. And you also have to think about, are there any other related projects that have been already undertaken to address this issue, and how have you thought about, you know, how the lessons from that project has influenced how you're going to carry out your project. The next key element is your target audience. Obviously, you need to really clearly understand who your target audience is so that you can design a project that meets their needs and actually, you know, works. And part of that is thinking about why targeting this audience will tackle the environmental issue you're addressing. So, you know, you've got to show the link between why you've picked that group of people to help undertake your project. Project activities. As you can see, these blue boxes I'm skimming through, these are your guidance boxes. So this project plan we're going through, I'm just jumping to the bits you have to fill out. These blue bits are guidance boxes that you can just delete once you've undertaken your project plan. And I'm not going to read through them now because you can do that in your, you know, in your leisure. So with project activities, the things you need to think about are how are the activities, you know, going to educate and engage your target audience. So you need to think about, you know, that the activities are meeting their needs, i.e., you know, you don't design a project for working parents. You don't, you know, design an information session that requires them to attend at 7 o'clock at night when they're trying to put their kids to bed. Just pretty basic stuff which you guys all know. And then you have to think about, do your activities build the capacity of your audience? Because that's what you're trying to do. You want them to, you know, change their behaviour, build their capacity so it can be an ongoing, you know, an ongoing result there. So things you need to think about with your activities are, you know, how many people are you targeting? How many people do you want to come along? What are the actual steps you need to complete that activity? Who is responsible? So who in your project team is going to undertake it, and when are you going to do it by? And this means you've got a table to actually look at every project management meeting so that you can check in. How's everything going? Have we done the things we need to do? Who's responsible if it hasn't been done? You know, when was the completion date? Oh shit, we've passed the completion date. What are we going to do now? This next question is an incredibly important question, and I'll just spend a little bit to talk about this. You need to think about how your target audience will benefit from participating in your project. This can seem like a strange question on face value. What it's making you do is to articulate what's in it for your target audience. So it's not enough just to try and attract people to participate in a project by saying it's going to help the environment, because we know not everyone cares about the environment. But what we do know is that people care about themselves, and people participate and do things because it's going to meet a need that they have. So examples of this are that, you know, if you can promote your project as being a way that someone's going to save money, reduce their electricity bill, that's what's in it for them. Maybe your project, your event is going to have delicious food. You promote that because that's what they're interested in. Maybe they're going to meet new friends. Maybe they're interested in learning something new. Maybe your event is outdoors and you can promote, hey, get outdoors and come to this beautiful national park, blah, blah, blah. You guys all know this, but sometimes we forget this. And this is really important for how we actually communicate with our audience, how we actually get people to come along, because if we miss this critical part, we can find that people, you know, didn't really understand what was in it for them. And it's very much about stepping outside of what your organisation's needs are and what your needs are, and thinking about, well, what are the needs of my target audience? Because if you can't tap into what their needs are and you don't understand that, they won't participate in your project. They'll think it's not for me. So the next element is collaboration. We've spent a lot of time in this project talking about collaboration, collaborative leadership, leading for collaboration. So the guidance notes are in here why you should collaborate. And in the project plan, you just need to identify, you know, who is in your project team, what their role is, what's the organisation, and then this really important question: what are the organisational goals of your collaborators that this project is going to address? So is your project going to tick a KPI for your organisation, for the organisation that... Sorry about that. You know, is this project going to tick a box for one of your collaborator organisations? Because if you want people to collaborate on your project, not only do they have to understand why they're being involved, but their managers need to understand the benefits of being involved in this project. So this column is just about thinking about the needs of your collaborators, and if you can show your manager that, hey, this project I want to collaborate on with this group of people is actually meeting our strategic plan 1.3 vision, then that's going to be a good thing and help you get managerial support to collaborate on the project. So the next key element are your stakeholders and communication. So you need to think about who your stakeholders are for the project. They are obviously your target audience. They're your project team, the collaborators I was just talking about. They can be the general community. There could be more than this, but as a basic, they're the sort of basic three groups. Interest or views, this is where you're thinking about who's in, you know, why are they interested in it? It doesn't mean that your community is interested in your project, but, you know, if they live in the local suburb where your project is being run, then their interest or view is that they are a local resident. They live in that area. Or they might be a community group. It might be a community group that's done something to address this problem before. You know, it could be a wildlife carer group, whatever. The next thing is the key message. What is the message you're trying to get across to your stakeholder? So if we use the example of the target audience here, the message to your target audience is, you know, motivating them to become involved in your project by marketing the personal benefits. So your message to your target audience would be, come along to our event because you're going to have a great time, meet new people, eat great food. Basically, we're going to tick all of your boxes. And the communication method, how are you going to communicate that to your audience? Are you going to have an information store, for example? So basically you put in your stakeholder and you think about the key message. Key messages for collaborators are that you want to promote the work of the project team to your collaborative organisation. So, you know, through a report, say an update to all of the collaborators, say like an email update to their organisations, then all of the collaborators, managers know what's going on and they're just getting updates on, you know, the project's doing well, blah, 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 so that all the collaborators still stay supported throughout the length of the project. And then an example of a communication method for your general community is that, you know, a media release. You would do a media release to the general community and your key message would be just raising awareness about the issue and about the project that you're working on. I'm aware we're going through this really fast, but you guys know this, and we've got all different levels of skills, so hopefully this is going okay for you guys. The next key element is evaluation. So I think this is the one part of the last 6 months that we really haven't covered very well. Look, we acknowledge that the evaluation workshop and webinar wasn't very helpful for some people. So we've put a lot of work into this section, and we've put a lot of work into developing an outcomes hierarchy framework that you can use. So we've created this template, which is your outcomes hierarchy framework. This is your tool. You fill in this table, you are essentially developing your monitoring and evaluation plan for your project. An outcomes hierarchy framework is read from the bottom to the top. It shows the program logic of your program. It shows you how all of your activities down here at the bottom actually lead to an environmental benefit. It works through those stages and ensures that you think about how you're going to measure that. What are your evaluation questions going to be? How are you going to measure success? And how are you going to get your evaluation data and who's going to collect it? So you can see that the bottom row are your activities. This is where you list each activity you're going to undertake to educate and engage with your target audience. The next step up is, sorry, that's my son. The next step up is the immediate outcome. So when you undertake your activity, what is going to be the outcome? What is the commitment to take action that your audience is then going to take? After that, when they have actually undertaken that, how will your target audience have changed their behaviour, and how will this behaviour have helped the environment? So it's flowing upwards, and you can see there are examples all through here. For example, you know, was your activity a success? Did your target audience learn from the activity? Moving up to the immediate outcome, did they make a commitment to take action? Moving up to the next one, did your target audience then change their behaviour and take action? Because you can make a commitment and not actually carry it out. To the final ultimate outcome, did that help the environment? How did that help the environment? And you can see there are different indicators here, thinking about, you know, very basic evaluation, how many people attended an event, participation rates, how many commitments were taken, how many participants adopted a new behaviour, and then what was the environmental outcome? Number of trees planted, litter picked up, examples, and through here are your examples of different data sources, from attendance records at activities and surveys, number of pledges to get commitments, follow-up surveys of participants, and then you know, counts of trees planted, of litter collected, or observations. And then reflection is an important part of that, and then dissemination. So dissemination is about, you know, how you're going to share your outcomes with others, and then you have the budget. So that was very quick. I hope that you stayed with me there. But as I said, most of this stuff isn't new for most of you. So now I'll just turn the screen sharing off. And just quickly go through the next steps now with the projects. So, if you need any help with your project plan, you can get help from me, or you can get help from others or the other participants by using the Facebook forum. Basically, to access the $1,500 in funding that we have for you guys to run a collaborative project, each RSEN needs to fill out the project plan. They need to use this project plan template for their project. As you can see, or you might have seen when you were going through, there's only about 12 questions that you need to answer, and a lot of those questions, you know, are really only 1 or 2 sentences, you know, 2 or 3 sentences, so you can put as much detail into it as you like, but it's really so that you think about all the important elements to make your project work. So once you've done this, you know, at your next RSEN meeting, once you've figured out your project plan, you can email it to me, or if you haven't been able to complete it all and there's sections that you need help with, I can organise an online meeting at very short notice so that everyone who's participating in the RSEN can all jump on the computer like we are today and work through your questions and help you to complete it. So once your project plan is completed, I'm going to run it past the A2E project management group, which is a great opportunity for you to get, you know, suggestions and another collaborator for feedback. And then we're going to send the project summary to the Environmental Trust to get the funding. So look, the important things to remember for your projects are that they have to be collaborative and best practice. So, you know, they can be big or small projects. For those of you that have had the chance to read all the emails I've been sending out, they can be big, but they can also be small. They can be new projects, or they can be existing projects. They just need to be best practice projects that have an environmental outcome. If you fill out the project plan, you'll be ticking all the boxes. Just a couple of things to think about, and I'm nearly done. If you are wanting to run an existing project, apply for funding for an existing project that a member of your RSEN, say their organisation already undertakes this, it would be, for example, a project that might be a yearly event, or, you know, it's a reoccurring project. You just need to show that you're making it best practice and you're making it more collaborative, which, you know, as the aim, you can really try and sort of think, if we can get, you know, 2 or 3 more organisations to collaborate on the project, then that's going to lead to some really good outcomes. You need to think about the RSEN member who is proposing, you know, that you all work collaboratively on their project. They just need to think about, and you need to know, do they have the authority within their organisation to change the project plan? That's an important thing to think about. And then you just have to think about, is there enough time to change the existing project to make it collaborative and best practice? So, you know, whatever project you're looking at for 2017, if it's an existing project, it has to still be in those early planning stages so that you can adapt the plan. So you'd be ideally looking at projects that haven't started their communication, they haven't started their communication strategy, they haven't finalised their monitoring and evaluation framework. And then the funding, how do you get the funding? It'll be reimbursements from A2E New South Wales, so that's quite basic. I think you all understand how that works. So At the end of this session, when we've all gone around and people have talked about their projects, if you still have concerns about your projects or about this project planning process, please stay on so that I can talk to you about that if I haven't already answered them. And so I'm just going to now go back and look at the chat questions and see. I did ask people at the start to type up any questions if they had any and to see if I'd answered them. So perhaps what I'll do is just to ask you now, if you still have any questions about the guide, if you want to just type it in the chat function and I can talk to you at the end of the session, because I'm just aware that we've got half an hour left and we want to sort of go around the group. So now's the opportunity for you guys to collaborate. If you, it's great to see a few more faces on screen. I don't know who Chris Vella is. That must be someone who has got a picture. Maybe they're using their partner's login. So if I could ask that the person using the login, Chris Vella, can
Hey, I'm Chris. Sorry, I just didn't want to have my... No, that's Chris, as in Christopher.
So Chris, sorry, I haven't met you before. This is a...
No.
Are you with one of the regional sustainability educator networks?
Yeah. I'm with Hawkesbury. Angela Colliver flicked us the link to kind of pop our heads in and see what it's a little bit about, and kind of, so we don't have a project on the move type of thing, but just to start getting it out to our network and getting them aware of this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So we're a bit of an outlier, just
okay,
just kind of getting the feel of it. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, thanks, Chris. Thanks for identifying yourself.
No worries.
So look, what I might do is we have got people on the screen, so maybe we might, people probably appreciate seeing faces and hearing a few thoughts from those RSENs. But basically, I was going to say, if you want to contribute, you can put your hand up. We'll just basically, I'm just, opening up the floor for anyone to, put their hand up and to, maybe just give a quick update on how things are going with your RSEN and your project. And for those of you that are coming with the webcam, if you would just like to just type in the chat that you would like to, you have something to contribute to this process, because I'm not going to go around and ask everyone to contribute, because I'm not wanting to put people on the spot. This is just very much about, people voluntarily giving some information. So is there anyone that I can see who would like to start the discussion? So no one is putting their hand up. Can people who can see me, can you hear me? I really don't want to point towards certain people, but I'm going to do that because no one is volunteering. Andy.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so Andy, do you want to just remind everyone just, who you are and go for it? Thank you.
I was trying to keep my hands below the screen. I'm Andy McVeigh. I'm involved in the Western Rivers Environmental Education Network, what we used to call the Central West Environmental Educators Network. And there's a team of us involved in the leadership training where we haven't, we've done a bit of thinking about our project plan so far, but we haven't settled on anything. We are, however, getting together for a face-to-face next Wednesday or Thursday, I think it is, at a central location that's going to suit most of us, and so we're going to knock it out then, get our strategic plan done, and also start thinking on our project plan, because there's a couple of us are going away for 6 months very soon, and so it'll depend on the capacity of the rest of the group as to whether we can actually get it done before or after that 6 months, within that 6 month period or afterwards. But we'll have something sorted by the end of next week. And Sally might want to add more on that. if she's still here.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, basically I'm just sort of interested in, today I just joined in this to see the best practice plan and what's required of us, because we really haven't had a chance to get together and plan our project. So what Andy said, and it sounds like we will also have additional challenges from my point of view, because the parent body of my organisation has actually changed the direction since I started this course, changed the direction of what we've got to do. So my involvement in a regional level is maybe less appropriate than a broader focus. So I'm interested in the challenge, like maybe other people are in the same boat, like if their organisations have changed focus further away from the specific regions. So that's going to be something that I'll be, raising with my network next week when we meet.
Okay, that's great. So we've heard from the Western Rivers Environmental Education Network. I can see your face, Lisa.
Can you? That was one I was just going to ask, because I can't. My video, I have a new laptop and my video is being very weird. So,
well,
I was just kind of like.
No, we can see your face. Did you want to give a bit of an update on what's happening in your neck of the woods and the amalgamations of a couple of networks and things like that?
All right. Is Chantel on? Chantel, are you on, hiding behind you?
Chantel doesn't have a webcam.
Yeah, I don't have a webcam, you know that.
Yeah, nice. So I get seen and I have to talk nice.
Seen but not heard. Well, yeah, that's exactly right.
That sounds good. Okay. So Chantel just, out in whatever. So we are two networks that we joined together at the October training. So the Mid-Rivers Group of Environmental Education Educators, which is the Mid-North Coast northern bit, and the Manning Environmental Education Group, which is the southern bit. So now we're all one big one. Because our area was so far apart anyways, we were going to be online anyways. We figured we might, and there's not that many of us, we figured we might as well join forces and be an online support network. So we've had our first online meeting. Like, we started a new mailing list and a Facebook group and all that stuff, and we had our first monthly meeting with 12 people, which is great. And we have another, we're going to have first Wednesdays of every month. And next week's meeting, we're going to plan, we are going to have maybe once or twice a year a face-to-face meeting. So we're going to meet in Kempsey, which is kind of the middle of the region, at a primary school there, which is a super duper sustainable school with gardens and all sorts of amazing things. And we are choosing to deal with marine debris, because many of us are on the coast, or if we're not on the coast, we're on rivers. And it's going to be like a marine debris training day. Because most of us in the network that seem to have joined on so far are dealing with waste right now. So that kind of was like a common thread. And that's happening in May 26th, the face-to-face meeting. And it's going to be like a training around marine debris. Chantel is going to be our main marine debris girl. And yeah, what am I missing, Chantel?
I think that's about it. So far we're doing pretty well. We've done our strategic plan, so we're on track.
Yeah, on track. Erica's part of our network, so we're very special.
Yes, but I don't have to be the convener, because that would be a conflict of interest. So
yeah, no conflicts of interest.
Look, that's great. Thank you, Mid-North Coast Sustainability Education Network. I've just seen that Chris from the Central Coast Environmental Educators Network, I can see you. I'm singling out the people whose faces I can see, because everyone else is hiding. But for the people that I can't see your face, please type into the chat if you'd like to contribute, because this only works if we all contribute. So Chris, I know you've just come in a bit late. It's great that you have been able to join us. Christine, would you like to just give a little update on, you know, what's been happening with yourself and with Jane and the other people who are working on this project, and also, you know, your network, because you were giving me a bit of an update before. Would you be happy to do that?
Yep. Yep. No worries. Yeah, sorry it's a bit late. I've been out at the beach with kids all day. So, yeah, so we are actually having a meeting tomorrow. Like, we're just doing a green drinks thing with our regional network. And we haven't actually told them yet about our workshop, because I think we just had an end of year quick drinks thing in December as well. So at this workshop or meeting that we're having tomorrow, we're going to be talking about what we've been doing with you guys and, you know, what's happening around the regions. And we're going to set a planning date. So we've got a couple of dates already that we've looked on the calendar, and we want to try and, you know, get together and have a look at that strategic directions and, you know, have some planning about what might be a collaborative project. So we were sort of hoping that we would do that this term, but then Rumballah has been trying to build our teacher network as well. So we had Graham Collier came last week, and we had a bit of a network just with teachers. So because we haven't got many teachers in our regional network, it's mainly just like councils and, you know, other environment groups, but not many teachers. So we're trying to work on getting the two together. So yeah, this term was about getting the teachers, and we're hoping that they're going to come along to the meeting tomorrow. And but yeah, definitely lots happening. And I think by the next meeting, when we have our planning, there'll be some more good things to report on then too.
That's great. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it sounds like you're getting some good momentum there. I'm just wondering, I can see that Liz Crane, Liz, I did see your, Liz is from the Hunter Regional Sustainability Education Network. Liz, I did see your face pop up at the very start of this meeting, so I'm wondering whether you would like to plug your headphones back in or get your audio back up and give an update on, or just have a bit of a discussion about how things are going with the Hunter Network. But I'll just give you some time to do that. Maybe, how about Alina and Jules? Would either of you like to have turn your audio back on and just fill in the group on how you guys have been going, because you're both from the Western Sydney Environmental Educators Network.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? It's Jules.
Yes.
Hi, I think we might have Lisa online as well. So if she is here as well, there's the three of us from Western Sydney Enviro Ed Network. So we had I attended my first meeting. I think it was also Alina's first meeting in December. So it was great just to connect with those people, and it was really inspiring. It was quite amazing because I think we both already knew quite a lot of people in the network. So that was really, really promising. We were going to move forward with our strategic plan, or at least start bringing the concept of that to our group in early March, but that meeting has been postponed till actually this Wednesday. So I don't know, feel a little bit behind, but basically we're going to bring the strategic plan template to the meeting, and the facilitator of that meeting has sent out the minutes and the plan for the meeting. And in that plan is a review of how we do things, what we do, and where we're moving. So it aligns totally with looking at this strategic plan. There was a bit of talk in December about what shape we wanted the network to take for the next 12 months. And because it was my first meeting, I hung back a bit, but I did understand that it's primarily council-based education deliverers And I think the group seemed quite comfortable with that, keeping it at that level. I've had quite a few thoughts since about how we could expand our network and gently and slowly expand it to maybe include some other environmental education providers that still, I think, fit with the sector quite well without confronting anyone from the council sector, because they seem to really like the fact it was a chance to just share the challenges within a council sort of forum. So I'm hoping to be able to expand that sideways gently. And then I guess we don't meet that often. And then maybe, hopefully in the next quarter, we'll be able to go with a pumping project plan.
That's great. Lisa or Alina, did you want to add to that at all, seeing as we've got the whole Western Sydney network participants online at this point? Maybe I can imagine they're shaking their heads. Okay. All right. Would anyone else like to contribute before I move on to the next thing?
Erica, I've got to go and catch a plane, so I'm going to have to bug you out. Thanks very much.
That's all right. Thanks very much for coming, Andy. That's great.
See you, everybody. Alison and Sally, see you in a week or so.
Great. All right. Thank you. Good luck. All right. So no one's typing anything into the chat function, and no one's turning their audio off except Lena. Did you want to contribute? Did you want to discuss anything? And you can just, like, you know, do this if you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't really have anything at this point.
That's fine. I won't put you on the spot.
Christine, the only other thing I've just jotted down, Christine, I'm not sure if you've already done or if it's occurred to you, just because you're talking about adding teachers to your network, is going through the Sustainable Schools from OEH email list. Ring bell?
Yeah, well, the thing I wanted to bring up too is, because I'm on the schools subcommittee now for the A squared, E squared as well, I was talking to Sue Martin, and we were, you know, sort of having some discussions about surveying all you guys and all the RSNs, and what we were interested in was how many groups actually have committed teachers as well. And so this was something I was going to bring up too with you, Erica, but it's only just sort of, you know, just been talked about in the last week or so. So we were thinking about putting out a survey, just seeing what all our groups were like. We were interested in, were they just, you know, like formal educators from council and government and NGOs, or are they teachers, or are they a mixture of both? Because our group is sort of, you know, at the moment, the one that meets, as I said, doesn't have many teachers. So we're wanting to look at that, link in with what, you know, is already happening with Sustainable Schools. So that's something that we're thinking about doing, which we thought might be useful as well, and hopefully get your input.
Yeah, I think that would be very, very, very useful. The more we know, the better we can do things. That's great.
So, because, yeah, just seeing how we would support teachers and thinking about that as well, because this has been like a great support for us. So just want, yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, we need to get information before we make any decisions.
That's exactly right. That is that first point in the project plan, you know, understanding your audience so that you can plan things to meet their needs and know what their needs are. Does anyone have any questions or concerns at this stage about anything in the project plan, or anything to do with the process? Obviously, I'm going to put the process that I went through at the start, as in, you know, the process from here on. I'm going to put that in an email so people can read through that. But, and you can type this in as well if you don't want to turn your microphone on and speak. But this is a good opportunity to you know, give a bit of frank and fearless feedback, because if you've read through the guide and it really offends you or pissed you off or frustrated you, this is the time to bring it up so that, you know, we can discuss that and try and improve things. And I'm quite up for that, you know. I'm quite frank and fearless. So, but I'm not a scary person. I can't slap you, you know, if you say something that offends me, because we're not in the same room. That was my attempt at humour, to try and get some engagement from everyone. Oh, look, someone smiled. So does anyone have any? Okay, great. Jules has written a concern. She says she's a bit concerned that her network wishes to remain as local council only. Is that a problem, do you think? It's certainly an issue for growing the network. Well, Jules, I think it depends on what they mean by remaining as local council only. When you were just talking about that, then you were talking about local council projects. If they just sort of mean that that the local council projects are the best way to collaborate, that's okay. But if they mean that they only want the members of their network to be local, working in local council, then I suppose that's a missed opportunity for increased collaboration. The whole point of this project is to get networks collaborating more, and maybe what you could think about is, you know, to try and persuade them is that it's good for them to realise that all of the networks outside of Sydney are already cross-sectoral, which means none of the networks outside of Sydney only have local council members. However, that doesn't mean that that's obviously not an argument for them to change if they really want to simply remain local council. But I suppose that does make it challenging. Do others, you know, we're trying to promote the value of collaboration to achieve environmental outcomes for everyone. So I suppose the best you can do is try and sort of, you know, push this best practice plan under their noses and go through that, because there's a whole section, the blue notes in the best practice guide. That's all the information of why you should be looking at that particular element. And there's a great big box on the value of collaboration and why you should collaborate. And I suppose it's, you will see in the background of the guide, we've tried to explain that this information is not just A squared, E squared talking. We've got this information from what the New South Wales Environmental Trust promotes. So, you know, if there are certain members of the RSEN that aren't convinced on the value of collaboration, if they ever wish to apply for funding from the Environmental Trust, they are going to have to collaborate outside of their organisation. Maybe it's enough for them to collaborate with all the other local councils, but the Environmental Trust recognises the value of collaboration just because you get better outcomes for the environment and for the community, and it sort of just makes sense. So I hope I've answered that. Others might like to chip in and give some suggestions there. Esther has said that, is she the only one struggling to get a group together? I realise I could join in out of area. But so Esther, you're in the, Esther, do you want to put your audio on? But I believe you're in the Southern Highlands. So Esther, you could join the MacArthur Sustainability Environmental Educators, what's the group called? It's called MacArthur Seed, which is Sustainability and Environmental Education Network. So Denise Frankovich from Camden Council, she's been involved in that MacArthur group. So if you, I can send you her contact details, but that would be close for you. So Esther, I would just suggest you get in contact with Denise and get on board with that. So that's fantastic. Thank you for bringing that up, Esther. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns that they'd like to like to bring up in the next 5 minutes. Maybe while people are typing, I'd just like to reiterate, we're going to have these meetings monthly. So this is a monthly opportunity for you guys all to network and find out what's going on in the other networks and talk about problems, get support and things like that. But as you can see, these online meetings work so much better when we can see your face. Webcams only cost $40 from Officeworks. So, you know, and if you've got petty cash in your organisation, or even if you just buy a webcam yourself, that would be fantastic. Or if you have any smart device, if you have an iPad or a smartphone, just download the free Zoom app, and all you do is just hold it up, and you can, you know, bring that into your organisation, or you can do it from home. So I suppose the beauty about this technology is that you don't have to be at work. If it clashes with, you know, if it's not when you're at work, you can participate out of work hours, which many people do. But I'd just really encourage you guys to try and embrace this technology, because it's very helpful. And also keep in mind for yourselves, if it's hard, even in the Sydney regions, even where you are all located quite close, if it's hard for people to physically get to the room, please let me know, because we can let you use the A2E subscription to Zoom for your network meetings, which means that, you know, if someone can't get away from the office, you're going to have a much better chance of them attending the network meeting. Liz, I saw your face popped up before. Liz, would you be able to would you like to just give a little update on how the Hunter RSEN is going?
Sorry, Erica. Yes. I've just arrived home. I'm sorry I'm late for the meeting. Yes, we've had one face-to-face meeting, and we've had 2 Zoom meetings. Found Zoom really great. I don't know what you've discussed up until right now, and my dog's barking, sorry about that.
That's okay, we don't need a dog.
Oh, good. So what we've done, we've put our strategic plan together. We've done that with track changes and through our Zoom meetings, and we found that really successful. We've been able to hand that. We didn't make a lot of changes to the template, and we organised a meeting for last week, another Zoom meeting, but a couple of us, or about 3 of us, had to pull out close to the meeting, so we've got to reschedule. But our next plan is to organise a meeting to plan our first get together, I guess, and invite the wider community, our wider network. Yeah, is that what you're after?
Yeah, look, that's great, and maybe, and you know, as you guys probably guessed, you know, the Hunter Network hasn't. They're in the process of reinvigoration. So that's what you're referring to, isn't it, Liz? Because you've been working with the other Leadership for Sustainability participants to reinvigorate the network. You've developed your strategic plan, and now sounds like you're about to organise your first meeting to get the network back out there. Do you have? Yes. And that will. That's going to be quite cross-sectoral, isn't it? Because you're from OEH, and Angus is at Newcastle Council, and Melinda is at Singleton Council. So
yes, it's going to be rather interesting. We've actually reinvigorated a network that used to exist called Eco Edge, and there's a Facebook page that used to function with that group, and they used to get together and organise events and go to each other's events, that sort of thing. So we've been able to access that network and send a survey around to ask what other people see a Hunter network doing, or you know, what we should do, whether people are interested in doing something together. So that survey, and yes, it will be rather interesting, because there's a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, I guess. Yeah, lots of different workplaces. We've got some teachers also involved, consultants, yeah, state government, local government, yeah.
That's great. That's great. You guys have made some good progress there, and I know you've been working hard on that. So yeah, it will all be a very interesting process. Essentially, what we're all trying to do is something new, and I hope by everyone being able to come together and and share where they're at and share what their problems are, or where they're up to. I hope that everyone can just learn from each other and just make this whole year so much smoother, and so that hopefully at the end you'll all have learnt a whole heap and have participated in in a really good process. So thanks for that, Liz. And look, we're almost bang on 4:30, so unless anyone has, if anyone has any final questions, get them up on chat or turn your audio off and jump in. Otherwise, I'd just like to thank you again. I hope today's been useful for you guys. It has been useful for me. Lisa's just asked, when do we need the project submitted by? So the project plan, it's really up to you. Your deadline to undertake this project is at the end of the year. Our deadline for this project ends in March of next year. So unless you have a project that you want to work on over summer, we've really suggested that the deadline for your project is December. So you just need to work backwards. It all depends on what your project is and when it is and how big it is or how small it is. Remember that the funding that we're offering doesn't need to be the only source of funding for you. If you work at organisations with some good funding, if you work at a local council or an environments education centre or or OEH or other organisations, there might be funding that you can tap into, and try to remember that funding doesn't always mean cash. It can be in-kind contributions from the photographer, the media person at council who's a great photographer can come along and take photos for you, or the online media person at council can include your project information in e-newsletters that go out to the community. So it's all about just thinking creatively about who can help and who is in your network that can help. So just a few more questions. This meeting is going onto YouTube. As I said, it's being recorded, and I'll send out a link on Facebook, but also via email. So will I do a little newsletter update on what the network's up to? Look, basically, if people can watch this meeting and that will be their update. I don't have the capacity to do that. So, but we will have these meetings every month. So every month you can come in and join this meeting and connect with everyone else. So thank you very much, everyone. I really do appreciate that so many of you have come today. I think it's been a great first online meeting. It's been great that I can see half of you. And, I know how busy everyone is. But just try to remember all that positive energy of you guys. And yeah, it's going to be a good year. And as I said, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So send me an email, give me a phone call, use the Facebook forum if you want to get, ask questions of others and just connect up with your other participants. You've all got each other's contact details. And if you have lost that document, email me, because you're all given a document at the workshop with everyone's contact details. So, connect up. You guys all love chatting and you all love talking to other people about your projects. So thank you very much, guys. And I'm going to end it there. I'll just let you guys hop off. So if anyone wants to talk one-on-one, you can just stay on board, and I'm happy to, talk to you one-on-one if anyone wants to do that.
might quickly talk to you about that thing that I just mentioned.
Yeah, sure. I think, fine. Yep. Yes, I think that's a really good idea to do a survey. So.
Yeah, it's just, so, we talked about it at the school subcommittee. Also Sue and Glenn are trying to organise all the leaders of the RSNs and stuff to come to a meeting at Observatory Hall in May, I think it is. So has anyone told you about any of that yet? Because we've only just talked about it, so you might not know yet.
No, they haven't, but that's fine. I know there's like so many people in A squared, E squared, and everyone's working feverishly away. So no, I'm not precious about who I find out information from. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm going to bring it up anyway on Wednesday, but I just thought, well, I got you there, and I just mentioned it. So so I don't know how that. Like, I'm not sure what's happening with the thing in May. So whether they're thinking about everyone from this group, like inviting them, or as I said, but the main thing is we're trying to figure out who are the teacher groups. So have you already got that info as part of something written down, or?
Look, for this project, I've only been in contact with the regional environmental educator networks, not with the schools, environmental education groups.
So you don't know if some of these are school related as well, or they're all, you think they're all not, or? No,
not necessarily. I mean, when you say, most of the networks have, some of the networks have school, I know have school membership. So I know some of them have members that are school teachers or environmental education centres. So, so that's pretty common throughout. But I haven't been involved at all with the actual, the actual school environmental educator networks, like the networks solely for schools. But and I only really know. I know who the 44 participants in this project. I know what sectors they represent. I know which organisations they're from, but I don't. But that's only three people in each network. I don't know what the rest of their network membership is. So it would be really good to find out, and I think we could probably. I don't know how much you've thought through it, but A squared, E squared has a SurveyMonkey account, so it wouldn't be hard to just to create a very quick online survey, and I could certainly email it out. Whatever you email to me, I can send it out via our network. We can put it on the Facebook forum that we're all part of. And you can also put it on the New South Wales Facebook page, because then you just click on the link in Facebook, it opens up, and it's probably quite a good way to get people to do something when they're just at home checking Facebook, if it's a like 5-question survey. Yeah,
that's what we're thinking. Like just 5 questions, like do you have teachers in it, and how effective is it, and what sort of support would be good, just something like that. So all right, well I'll stay in touch with it anyway, so just thought I'd flag it out there, and
that's great. Fantastic.
Get that out, see what happens.
Great.
Okay,
all right. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, no worries.
Keep up
See
the
ya.
good work. Okay, bye.
Bye.